Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 216 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I welcomed LA-based singer-songwriter. His name is Dexter Kelly. I was actually introduced to Dexter through Vianca, who has introduced me to a lot of amazing artists that she works with and represents. And today was our first real conversation. Dexter talked about his initial upbringing, being involved in sports, and how that led him to a love for music. Really the last 3 or 4 years, he's been sharpening his craft, being in the studio with different people. He mentioned one of my favorite producers, Bizness Boi, who he had the chance to work with. What it meant to build up his team and the people around him that believe in him and his sound. Talked about some of the recent music he's dropped, just being able to consistently release singles, discuss doing different live shows in the LA area and really what it means to be a musician in LA to begin with, doing that, and kind of giving advice to people if they want to move to LA. And really just being able to have a plan when you do that, which I think is super important, and I'm glad that he shared that in this episode. I think Dexter has a lot of great wisdom that he shared on this one. Besides just being a great artist, and if you listen to his music, you'll be able to tell that. I think he just has a lot of great gems to drop on people, and for someone that's only been doing it for a few years, I can already tell he's going to have, what it takes to be in this for the long run. So I'm excited to see, what he does moving forward. And I hope we can get it back on the show soon. But without further ado, let's get into this one. All right, so welcome everyone to episode 216 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today we have an artist who my friend Vianca sent over to me. She's always sending me incredible artists. LA-based R&B artist here today. Dexter Kelly, how you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing, man. How you doing?
Doing great. And like I said, thanks for being here. Thanks for agreeing to be on the show. And I'm excited to have you here because this is like our first real introductory conversation as well. So it's nice to meet you. And what we have the guests do to start off every episode is just give some background. How did you get into music? How long have you been doing it? For those that might not know you and what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So, I started been making music seriously for like the past 3.5, going on 4 years now. I've been like rapping, freestyling since high school. Was known for that. I played several instruments growing up, but was really more into sports. Was kind of more of my lifestyle, so I didn't really have time to take music seriously until after college. But yeah, I made my first couple songs in college and really just fell in love with it, when I first started going to the studio, like seriously, hearing how I could sound and the potential of where I could take it. And yeah, just fell in love with creating, man. And now we're here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And was there ever like one specific moment where that happened, where you said, I want to start pursuing this as an artist? Was there anybody that like heard maybe a demo of yours or something and was like, they believed in the sound, or you kind of just found that on your own?
Yeah, I would say, I think looking back, I don't know if it was a certain moment, but I think it was a certain, So actually I had got, when I first started off, I got linked with this super dope, pretty big producer. His name is Bizness Boi. Super dope. Oh. And I remember the first time I heard my voice on one of his beats on like that high level of production, I was like, oh shit, like, okay, like, I could do this, and that kind of inspired me, to just see myself, as bigger than just making songs in my college apartment, once I've heard myself on a Grammy nominated level of production. And just heard, when it was a certain song I made or a couple songs I made. And just seeing people's response and reaction to it, like either in the studio or when I showed my friends, kind of gave me that confidence to pursue it. Yeah. And haven't looked back since.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I got to say, I'm a big Bizness Boi fan, big advocate for his music.
Yeah,
what he's done.
He's crazy, man.
Yeah.
His work ethic is stupid. So man.
That's awesome, and it's great to have somebody there too to be able to see that within yourself as well, and kind of just say like,
I remember him saying that he saw potential in me, and that definitely sparked something. So thankful for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome. And since around that time, how do you think your songwriting and really just your song creation in general, or maybe your recording process, how has it evolved since then? Have you felt yourself just getting sharper with every step that you've been doing this now?
Yeah, honestly, it's a process. It's a journey, bro. And it's just like with anything, you're not going to get better without putting the work in. And I think as you go through this, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into when you first start. You're just kind of doing it. And as you get into it, you see, there's a lot that goes into it besides the actual creation of music. It's a whole music business. And, just kind of learning that and navigating my way. There's ups and downs, but I think just, always remembering why you started and what you're doing it for has kept me going. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now I gotta ask, because a lot of people are, they're based in LA. They work within the entertainment industry. They live in LA? But are you from the LA area or somewhere nearby?
I'm from Pasadena,
okay, California. So you're not too far away then. You're more of the Inland Empire.
LA, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I gotta ask about being in LA, because obviously I've heard many things from many people. Either people that move there from elsewhere, and then they go and they try to start a career, and I've heard mixed stories about their experiences. So what is your experience just being in LA, working? Like, do you have horror stories, or how has it been?
It's it's funny you say that. It comes with pros and cons, just like anything. I don't think that it's necessarily the place you have to be coming up. It's great for networking. It's great for, inspiration, meeting people, working with all kinds of people. But it's not necessarily the place. It's a lot of competition, which is not bad. It just, you kind of get sucked in to everybody's trying to do the same thing. And so it's harder to stand out. Not saying that, it's a bad thing to be around talent, because it just pushes you to go harder. But it's also, from a financial standpoint, it's expensive. You got to really have something stable out there to really, so you don't get trapped into doing, it can kind of feel like, you don't have as much time for the music or creation or whatever your creative endeavors are, because you're always working, trying to make ends meet, or, rent is crazy. But it's really good for networking. I've met all types of people along the way that have gotten me to this point. But as an artist, if you're coming up, I don't necessarily think it's like, I need to move to LA because I'm trying to get on. No, you should establish yourself where you at. Once you kind of, start getting a buzz, start getting a name, you want to move to LA. I understand, everybody wants to be in LA, but it's not really a place you want to come with no plan, with no real plan, because you're going to end up coming and leaving, which is what a lot of people end up doing, or they come for one thing and, life hits them hard. They end up giving up or getting discouraged. So I would just say, if you ever gonna come to LA, come with a plan, come with some money saved up,
I'd say that's the best advice to give too, because I think a lot of people put their dreams and ambitions ahead of reality. Sometimes it's like you kind of got to
Mm-hmm.
learn to find the balance within yourself and with what
Right,
your journey
right.
is allowing for you to have too.
Yeah, and if you're in your city, wherever that is, and you got a good job, you got a good support there, I would build that up as much as possible.
Yeah,
Before you're trying to just move to LA and take
yeah,
over LA, like it's kind of it's I'm not saying it's not possible. People have done it,
hmm.
but I've seen firsthand a lot of people that came and they either leave or they end up kind of just giving up, because it's too much going on for them,
Yeah.
and they're one, I have my support system. I'm from there, so it's like, I have a strong base there, foundation. So,
Yeah,
but yeah.
100%, man. Now let's talk a little bit about that too, about what you've built so far, and more importantly about what you mentioned earlier, which is setting yourself apart from other artists and other people trying to do music. How have you found that you've been able to differentiate yourself from other artists, or like what do you think is your most unique point of interest with your music and what you're doing?
Well, one thing about me is I'm always experimenting, exploring like with new sounds, new styles, and I'm still, I'm 4 years in. I'm still, I would say, looking for my sound,
Mm.
quote unquote. I've I've tried. I rap. I actually started rapping. I rap. I'm a rapper who learned how to sing, learning how to sing. And honestly, I love being versatile. I like trying new stuff. I like, working with different producers and just, I feel like it's still early, super early in my career, so where I can be exploring. But, at the same time, I am trying to lock in on a sound that I can brand, that oh, this is Dexter Kelly, you know. Um, so yeah, but I don't want to. I never wanted to put myself in a box and be like, oh, he just does this, he just does that. I know from a marketing perspective, eventually, I really do need to kind of choose a lane or, not necessarily choose a lane, but yeah, but choose a. I got to be marketable. I have to have a something that sets me apart. Like, okay, this is what he's doing. This is his sound. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like finding like I said about balance. You got to have the balance between like the versatility and the marketability
Right.
too. And like what does that
Right.
look like for
Right,
you?
but I
So
also think it's when you are versatile, you do stand out more,
yeah,
versus someone that just is a one trick pony. Not that that's a bad thing, but I never want to lose my love for wanting to explore and create because that's what it's about.
yeah,
I started making music for myself. It's not really, if the people like it, then I love it. You know what I mean? Obviously, I want to make stuff that my supporters like, but at the same time, it's like I'm making stuff that I like, and that's kind of how I've been going about it. Yeah. So.
yeah. Always got to keep the love involved in what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. You have to continue to find that inspiration, find new things to really to challenge yourself. You know what I mean? I want to continue to challenge myself.
Yeah.
So
Keep pushing boundaries for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because you just never know, man. Like it could be a song, like people say all the time. It could be a song that I didn't even like that the people love, or you know what I'm saying. It could be a song I really like. That other, it just everybody has their opinion. So it's kind of just catering to yourself, but also to the people that are listening to you. You want to make sure you keep them in mind as
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely. And speaking of tracks, I know you just dropped a new single on I think June 7th, so quite recently. So let us
Yeah,
know about that, man. Like what's the story behind that one and why did you choose to drop that one
yeah.
now?
So I dropped a new single. It's called "Grown Woman." Um, the story behind that, um, it's really a summer vibe, a feel good song. Um, kind of inspired like all my music by either past experiences, past relationships or emotions that I've been able to express in words and put it on a beat. You know, so I don't know if there's a specific person that you know was inspired by. It's kind of just like with all my stuff I kind of say it's just a combination of just life emotions and experiences that I'm able to articulate. So yeah, it's definitely a song that the ladies is loving. You know, so it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Go play that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Great way to kick off the summer too. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
awesome.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Hey there, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know about a couple different ways that you can support the podcast. One of the ways is by clicking that support the podcast button within your streaming platform. That is if you want to be a monthly supporter of the show. You can contribute either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month. So that's the first way, and that's the more traditional way that we've had now for the last couple years. The other method that we actually just recently introduced is from our good friends over at Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a virtual tip jar. We have set our limit to a minimum of $10, but you can go make one-time, one-off donations. So if you visit ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast, you'll be able to donate. And all these different forms of donation go towards getting new guests every single week, getting potential sponsors on board to do giveaways, and overall just making the show better for you guys. So if you want to do that Ko-fi link, it's ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Otherwise, again, look for that support the podcast button in your streaming platform if you'd like to be a monthly supporter. And I just want to say thank you guys for your contributions. And without further ado, let's get back into the episode. And is that like is it going to be like the first single from a project maybe, or anything coming up? Like,
it might go on a project. I really don't have any plans for a project right now. I'm really just trying to keep rolling out these singles.
Yeah.
Being consistent, you know, I've seen that consistency works more than anything. So as much as I would love to drop an album or a project, I've dropped EPs, you know, like 4, I think the most is like 5 songs. I dropped the EP called Thanks to You on Valentine's Day this year, which was 4 songs. But I don't know if I'm planning on going over that anytime soon. I want to continue to build up, you know, momentum, continue to figure out where my fans are. And, yeah, just trying throwing darts at the wall, man, you know? Yeah. And I feel like if I drop an album too soon, you know, that I might not be, you know, as happy with the results versus dropping singles and seeing what works. You know, you got to see what works, man. You got to try stuff. It's trial and error. So yeah, I'm just going to continue doing that until I feel confident enough to put out a whole body of work or project. So, or album.
And it gives you something to work towards too, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice, man. How about live performances? Have you done a lot of shows like before, or is that another thing you're kind of working towards?
Yeah, I've done a lot of shows. I've tried to perform. I performed at a lot of places. I feel like that has definitely helped. You know, it's nothing like hearing an artist live and becoming a fan right there, seeing them perform. I think that's the quickest way to really build up a fan base, up to, you know, get content to practice. You know, the whole point of this is to be able to tour the world performing your music. You know, that's what it's about. That's what I've always kind of seen it as. You know, I'm an entertainer, I'm a performer. You know, so it's cool for someone to hear your song and listen in their car or their bedroom or headphones, but when they see you live, it gives them a different connection to you. So I definitely try to perform as much as possible.
Yeah. You've been doing a lot of opening for other artists type deal, or?
I've done, not necessarily opened. I guess so. You could say some shows have been opening for other artists. Done a lot of showcases. I've thrown my own events. yeah, just perform. People would just ask me to perform at different venues, at different events. Uh, and yeah, where I kind of just follow wherever the opportunities are, if it makes sense. So, I love performing. So I've tried to do that as much as possible.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, a headlining tour, that's something to look forward to, I
Yeah, that's
think.
the goal,
So,
man. That's
yeah,
the goal.
for sure, man. So let's talk about, even outside of music, like what are you doing on the day to day to kind of recharge, reset, keep your mind right to be able to create
Right,
hobbies, anything like
right.
that? What do you do?
I like to work out. That definitely always clears my mind. Meditation. Um, to also, yeah, I love being in nature. I like to paint. Like to write. Just whatever I can. I like to draw. Whatever I can do to kind of, just express myself, man, and get into a state of um, just clarity, whatever that looks like for you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Everybody's different. I like to cook a little bit. I could do my thing in the kitchen. Uh, but yeah, man, hang out with friends. Uh, yeah, I grew up an athlete my whole life, so working out, fitness has always been a part of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What did you play? You a football player or
yeah, I played football.
football?
I played football. I played growing up. That was like my main sport, but I played it. I did it all, man. I played soccer, basketball, lacrosse, track. I think that's it.
Yeah. A little bit of
But
everything.
yeah. I like to swim. I love being in water. I like to go out on boats and yeah, really like the outdoors. Very peaceful. So whatever can bring me peace. I love to go to the beach. That's definitely a huge one for me. So yeah, man, whatever I can do to clear my mind and find peace. Everybody has their different, you know, their different. How should I say? Yeah,
Yeah.
their different flavors or whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Being able to live life, absorb it, and then channel it
yeah,
into
right.
the
And
music.
love to travel, man. I feel like traveling has allowed me to have this perspective of life and connection to people all over. Once you travel and see different cultures, see different lifestyles, meet different people, it opens your eyes up to just people and understanding people's emotions, which is, how you make songs. You
Yeah.
have to be able to relate to people. They have to be able to relate to you. And so this broadened sense that I have of the world, I think, has allowed me to make music that can be played universally and not just necessarily in my culture or my city. I like to make sounds that I feel can be global. So I think traveling has definitely inspired that.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what some of the greatest artists have always done too, is be able to do that. And like the
Right.
relatability aspect, it's like if you can relate to more people, the song has even more power. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
love
Yeah.
that, man. And is there anyone
Yeah.
you want to give a shout out to on this show? Friends, family, collaborators, anybody you want to let us know about?
Man, that's tough. I don't want to I don't want to start naming people because I don't
Yeah,
want to leave anybody
might
out.
forget somebody.
But
Yeah.
just anybody who's ever supported me, friends, family, artists. Uh, yeah, man. I shout out to everybody who's currently in my life, pushing me to be the best, man. Shout
Yeah.
out to the people who have, taught me how to create. Not necessarily taught me how to create, but inspired me to create. You know what I mean? I remember when I first started making music, um, it was like I was so eager to, like a puppy, like just you know what I'm saying? But I didn't really know how to. I just knew that I had some raw talent, and there's been multiple people. One of the main ones, shout out my boy Breadman, super talented producer, singer, songwriter, who's been a big part of when I first started making music in my creative process. Taught me how to how to sing, how to record myself, you know. Yeah, and yeah, man, it's a whole bunch of people. That's one of the main ones. I can always go back to him though, because he was like the first one I started making music with. So, you know, but I've had all type of talented friends and people come and spark interest in me and wanted to develop me. Shout out to my team, you know, my mentors in this game. Shout out 247, Vianca, Omar, you know, that have really, you know, continue to help develop me and, you know, seeing the potential and trying to bring the best out of me. So, you know, my parents, yeah, man, the list goes on and on. I'm super thankful, forever thankful. So,
yeah. I'd say one of the best parts of the journey is the people you meet along the way too. We always,
yeah. No, for sure, man. I've met all type of people, and some are just, you know, some come and go.
Yep.
Which I don't take personal. You know, everybody's in your life for seasons. You know, so the ones that are with you through it all, like through and through, those are the ones that, you know, you got to hold close to.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. So we're down to the last few questions here, and these are ones I ask on every episode. More life-related questions. And the first one is, if you could go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself a piece of advice, or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
Oh, man. 10 years ago, I would have been 16. I would have said, get in the freaking studio. Like in high school, man. But I'm telling you, I used to freestyle. Like, I could rap. Like, I would freestyle. I used to freestyle all the time with my friends and never took it serious. Like, I didn't really know I was actually talented. I was just doing it for fun. And I think I would go, if I could go back, I probably would have just started earlier, you know, because it's a process, man. You got to, you know, fight 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
You got to put it in. And so I don't have no regrets really, but if I could go back, I probably would have started. I would have followed my passion earlier, because I always wanted to make music. Honestly, I always did since I was little, but I didn't really understand what it took or what the lifestyle was, or, you know, that I actually had it in me until I kind of, you know, matured in my thoughts and like, okay, I can do this, you know. So, yeah, probably just would have started a little earlier, getting in the studio, writing.
Yeah, man. And if we flip that then and we say 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself in life and in music?
I envision myself as the best version of myself I can be. And I say that to say wherever this journey takes me, man, but, you know, I see myself being a very successful artist, accomplishing everything I said I would do. You know, whether it's singing, rapping, songwriting, producing, acting, you know, I see myself having a platform to inspire people, you know, and helping people along like myself who are trying to make it and just being a light in this world, you know. I want to continue to shine my light, continue to be an inspiration for anybody who's chasing their dreams, you know. And yeah, man, that's where I see myself.
Yeah, awesome, man. And do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
Final words of wisdom. Put God first, man. That's what I gotta leave you with. Put God first, and anything can happen. You know, you're gonna have your days where you're discouraged, where you feel like quitting. I've had mine. I still have them to this day. You know, when you're not seeing the results you want to see, but your faith gotta be stronger than your fears, man, and understand that it's all in your head. And don't compare yourself to others. You know, that can be your biggest downfalls. Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform, looking at people's cloud and followers, money, and understand that your path is divinely unique. You know what I'm saying? And that means that you have to run your own race. You have to go through your own journey. No matter how long it takes, no matter how fast it is, you know, don't don't get too down on the lows. Don't get too highs on the highs, man. Just be consistent and continue to work at your craft. Continue to chase that dream that God put in your heart, whatever it is. And yeah, man, just stay the course, stick to the script.
Yeah. We're all one-on-ones at the end of the day.
Exactly. Hey, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask questions. Ask if people that are in your life that God puts in your life for a reason, and don't be afraid to use them. Like, when I say use them, not just, how, you want to be able to add value to somebody's life, and not just always, taking. You want to be able to give as well. But at the same time, it's people that are in position and they're there for a reason. Ask them how they got there. Use their resources, Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's only going to make you better. So
yeah. Awesome, man. Well, Dexter, I got to say, man, thank you again for coming on the show. I hope you had a good time, man. I'm going to be on the lookout for all the stuff you got coming up, music, shows, everything, man. Keep doing your thing, man. We'll have to do this again soon, okay?
Much love, bro. I appreciate you for having me, man.
Thanks, everyone, for listening today. That was episode 216. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to set any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.